You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. That sounds horrible. Clearly, I don't know why I'm doing that with the singer on the show. That's just like the worst thing I could possibly put myself up against. Anyway, guys, you know me. You've heard of me. You've seen him on the street. You've seen him in your post office walls. People don't know what that means anymore. That's like an old joke. For those of you who are Gen Zers, you'll have to Google that joke. Anyway, guys, you've seen him everywhere, but the one place you haven't seen him is on the FBI's most wanted list, but there's still time. Anyway, guys, but please don't check, because I might be on there. I don't know. I didn't pay a parking bill. I bet you one of these days. No, always pay your parking bills. That's bad. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Once again, you're at the Chris Voss Show, the ChrisVossShow.com, and this is the Chris Voss Show Podcast. And I'm Chris Voss. You see how that theme is intertwining and just interwoven there? It's kind of weird. It's kind of a coincidence if you think about it. For 13 years, I don't know what the hell you people have been doing, but we always ask you to refer the show to your friends, family, relatives, because the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as I do if I meet you in person and see what sort of fashion you're not wearing or wearing, because everyone knows I'm a fashion god if you've seen me lately. There was the other thing I want to touch on, but I segued and I lost whatever the rest of that joke was. So anyway, guys, Sunday, we had like some crazy day on Sunday that was like almost a record day. As we've been talking about all month long, we've been hitting 30% more record numbers than ever before in the last 30 days. And at the end of this month, on October 1st, we hit the official 13 years, and we're going to do another whole year. And I mean, basically for the 11th, 12th, and 13th year, we've had double, triple years where we also do more than the 11, 12, and 13 years respectively done in all of the 11, 12, or 13 years. If that makes sense. Does that make sense, Amy? Am I making any sense when I say that?
It is. It's coming together. It's coming together.
It's not coming together. Anyway, guys, but she's on the show with us. We have Amy Scruggs on the show. If you know her, she is a big name in media, music, and everything else. So we'll be talking to her here in a second, but we're going to keep her on ice for a sec so we can read her bio. We're also going to have you go to greece.com/Chris Voss, go to youtube.com/Chris Voss, all those crazy places the kids are playing, the big 120,000 group on LinkedIn, and the LinkedIn newsletter. That thing's always interesting over there. It comes out every day or weekday. You can read all sorts of businessy stuff. And, there's other stuff too. All the cool stuff on the show. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Today, Amy Scruggs is on the show. Without further ado, that's not her name. Just Amy Scruggs is her name. She is known in the country music business for more than 15 years, opening for greats including Clinton Black, Trace Adkins, Charlie's, and many more. Is that Charlie's Angels? She's
Charlie Daniels.
Yeah. Charlie Daniels.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I grew up as a kid listening to The Devil Goes to Georgia.
Exactly.
That was, I was a youngster. Is that what Biden says? A youngster. A youngster around 12 years of age when that was, every other song they played that on the radio. The Devil Goes Down to Georgia. And wow, it makes me want to sing it. So anyway, she is on the show with us today, and she's gonna be talking about all the things she does. She was the spokesman for the American Veterans of California from 2009 to 2011. Her career also includes 20 years in sales team coaching and received bestseller on her book, Lights, Camera, Action in 2021. We'll be talking to her about that. The past 5 years, she's enjoyed her position as a TV host for the American Dream TV on CNBC and several other shows. She uses her experience as a media executive, TV host, recording artist, and public speaker as a media coach to help others communicate a concise and professional message for network TV, podcast, social media, or in-person speaking appearances. She's probably looking at listen to my podcast going, what the hell is this? Her newest single, you need to check it out. It's on Spotify and everywhere. And released in 2022. What If It All Goes Right is on radio worldwide, including reaching number 66 on the Music Row charts, along with being selected for the New York Times Summer 22 playlist, as opposed to my song, What If It All Goes Wrong? Anyway, which no one is playing. Anyway, welcome to the show, Amy. How are you?
Oh, it's so great to be with you. I've been really looking forward to this, and thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you. That was
there. You
really
go. I love all the laughing in the back. Sometimes I do jokes in the academics that I have at the colleges. They're wonderful people and brilliant, but they don't laugh at my jokes. Right? They're just kind of like, serious?
I was holding it in. I was trying not to be, disrespectful. I'm like, hold it in.
I know. I really appreciate it. When I do stand up, I'll pay to take you on tour, and you can be my shill
I'll
audience
be your front row person.
That's front row person that gets everybody laughing at my jokes that aren't funny. So, welcome to the show. Give us your .com so that people can find you in the interwebs.
amyScruggsmedia.com, also amyScruggsmusic.com, but they feed each other. So you go to one, you'll find the other.
There you go. And you are like a Mrs. Jack of all trades, or Miss Jack of all trades. You do a lot. Do you want to surmise maybe a hit point?
I know, and I'm only 25. Isn't that amazing? It's like
That's
just
amazing.
to squeeze all that in so quickly.
I'm 2 years older than you.
It's a continual evolution of the word shift. I mean, in life, we have to shift. In industries collapse, we have to shift. And so it does seem like a lot when you put it on paper like that. But to me, I just see it all as one. It's years of experience in different industries that you don't necessarily let go of one. You just bring it into the next thing you're doing and level up your experience and your passion. And the constant daily pursuit of my purpose and potential has led me to what I get to do today. And I just love it. Like, I just say, well, why not? Why not?
There you go.
Why not?
So let's talk about your latest work, the song. What motivated? Is this your first song? Are there other songs? Are there albums? Tell us more about this.
The music started for me at 3 years old, like everybody else who's an artist can say. And I have my 18-year overnight success story that I'll break down really brief for you. But I was always performing, always singing growing up. In the early 2000s, when I was in sales and in wholesale mortgage and running sales teams, I was always still performing in the cover bands and concerts in the park all over Southern California. And I had a chance to go to Nashville in 2004 and start the recording process. So there was some new music there. And I was still in the mortgage industry. And we know what happened in 2007. That world disappeared for me. My job disappeared. Wholesale mortgage disappeared. And realizing that it was all the sales skills, communication skills, business skills that allowed me to be successful in wholesale mortgage. And yet I still had my passion for music and had recordings, and said, why don't I combine those two? And instead of sitting here crying and wondering how I'm going to put food on the table and feed my kids, why don't I put a business plan together and put it into my passion and my purpose anyways, which was music. And so went out and asked for the business. And 6 months later, I was opening for Clint Black in Camp Verde, Arizona in 2008 on the 4th of July. So that was a pretty spectacular show, and went on to then tour for the next years with 4 kids in tow, and opened for some of the biggest names in country music. And that's also the time that I was doing a lot with the military and veteran community. And at that time, I had a single out called Coming Home. And it was a celebration song for our military and veterans. And the AmVets picked it up as their theme song for those 3 years that I was out doing a lot of military and veteran events at the same time and promoting that song on radio. And that allowed me to really start being in interviews on a regular basis. I mean, this is a time with a flip phone, did not have the tools and technology we had today, driving from town to town, doing radio interviews, TV interviews, and just staying out there in the forefront while I was touring and promoting that music, and especially promoting our veterans. And so that was a really, really incredible time that I took those careers and combined them, and then stepped back into the mortgage world back in 2011, made some adjustments and some shifts, and went back into business development. But I was still performing on request. I just wasn't touring anymore, keeping those careers combined. And then stepped in as TV host. So again, those skills still bringing in, but always performing. I had the chance to open for Toby Keith in the last few years, Chubby Checker, Frankie Avalon, Tony Orlando, if you can believe it. So some really fun opportunities still came about. But in 2020, we had the shift happen again that happened to everyone, not just those in the financial industry. And it was such a beautiful time to say, okay, it's time to make a shift. Where do I take these skills and put it into more media coaching? And then I got a call out of the blue one day that said, Amy, would you like to record your dream project in Nashville? Fred Mullen, who's just one of the most amazing producers of all time, said yes to doing a project with me. Because remember, in 2020, 2021, nobody was touring. The great musicians were home. The producers were home. So there was opportunity that presented itself that I said, hey, why not? Why did I say no to this? Did I have this planned? No. Did I know how this was going to go about? Absolutely not. And started the crazy song searching process. And 1,000 songs later to narrow it down to 5 from all the publishers from Nashville pitching music and working on that. And What If It All Goes Right? That song stood out like a sore thumb to me. I said, this is the one. This is the one. And to release it and see it having success that it's having. And the music came about because of the pandemic. And I am so grateful, and I'm grateful for the success. So that's why I still have current music out there right now, that after 18 years, when I thought I wouldn't get to record again, a dream just came right out of the sky.
There you go. And what's the gist of the song? Given the title, it seems like a very positive title.
It's such a great song. I did not write it. It came from some great writers in Nashville. Tanya Hantroff, she's just incredible. But it's that, we've all have that what if. We can say, well, what if the branch breaks if I climb out on it? What if the road is a dead end? What if this opportunity doesn't work? What if this love doesn't last? It's kind of and then it gets to the chorus, but what if it goes right? What if you chase your dreams and it changes your whole life? What if it all goes right? What if that road is a beautiful slow drive? What if that love lasts a lifetime? And even in the music video, I chose imagery that shows people from all walks of life, all ages, all cultures, getting that moment of their win. And this song is really that celebration of taking those negative thoughts off and saying, but what if it goes right? This is worth the risk. And that's the theme of the song.
And it sounds like you've lived a life where you've gone through several different catharsises and different moments where you've had to readjust, realign. I think most people go through life and no one has a perfect run. I don't think everyone gets challenged or goes through some cathartic times. Thanks to Dan Clouser. Great to see Amy on the show. Amazing human with great message. In her newest single. Thanks, Dan, for stepping in there. I think I've been friends with Dan for a million years on LinkedIn there. So let's talk. Should we? Do we want to touch any more on the song? Where can people download the song?
It's on all streaming platforms. You can find it on Spotify. It's on all streaming platforms. So just find it. Go to YouTube, find the video, enjoy it. We can move on. But thank you for listening. There you
go. Can they buy copies of it on Amazon on the digital?
Yes, it's for sale. It's all out there digitally, that you can get your hands on it in any way that is best for you.
There you go. And so you've taken a lot of what you mentioned that you learned from doing all your media and doing, I think you have a podcast, don't you, as well?
Yes, I don't run it not like your platform. It's really selective because I'm enjoying the process of being a podcast guest more than I am a host right now. I really wanted to switch gears, especially as I was promoting the music and the book. I'm enjoying being on the other side of the seat for a change. It's been fun, but I'd be happy to flip that switch when the time is right. I do host one for a nonprofit right now, but a lot of behind the scenes work that I produce for others, and I'm enjoying that as well.
Do you want to plug any names of any of them?
So I have a great podcast called Two Old Kids and Two Young Adults. And it is, I know it's hysterical, but it's really a resource for our young adults trying to navigate through college applications, starting their career, what to do. And we bring in professionals from all industries and all walks of life to answer the questions of our two young adults we have as our co-hosts, so that parents and young adults can navigate and say, what are our opportunities? What are our options? What's out there? And start to navigate this crazy world.
So you have your kids on the show?
No, my kids want really nothing to do with everything that I do now.
That's kids free. So who are the young?
It's a lot of Amy, but we have.
So you have some young kids on the show, though, or?
We do. We have a recent high school graduate and a recent college graduate that counterbalance that age demographic for us, and they co-host with Ed, who's Ed Sanderson is a tremendously well-renowned college coach in this space, and so our 4 experiences together and bringing in guests just makes it a really fun, lively banter, and hopefully making a difference to a lot of young adults out there.
There you go. That's what I need on the Chris Voss Show. I need like a Gen Z interpreter, who could be there going, speaking in emojis or something,
Yes.
Like what did Chris say? And they're like emojis on their screen. He's doing emojis and whatever the thing is. That's what I need, a millennial emoji,
An interpreter. Yes.
Gen Zer, especially when I do like dated jokes. Like we just had a famous Pulitzer Prize historian on who wrote about the Pope and got access to the Vatican records in the basement. We just had him on, and we were doing a lot of like old jokes from World War II and stuff. And and I'm sure the Gen Zers are like,
they're like, what?
What's a phone?
What? What's that?
What's a dial? What's Hitler? What? It's on the History Channel, kids, at 24/7. So let's touch on your book. You've got your book there, Lights, Camera, Action, Media Coaching for Any Professional in Today's Digital World. I should probably throw this some of the hosts we have, or some of the guests. We should probably throw it at the host too. Whack him in the head.
It's true. So some of them could, definitely it could help. It could help. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help.
Yeah. So you wrote this book. It came out October 26, 2021. Actually, that was 21 days after my book. So congratulations. A lot of great books got written during the pandemic.
Exactly.
I'm still waiting for monkeypox to get out of hand so I can write my second book. So there you go.
You can dream. You can dream. It was a really fun experience to put that together. For the most part,
was it the editing that got you, like me?
Yes. I'm ADHD, so to lock me up at that time, anyways, and take me out of the TV studio and out of being in front of people, that was already a shock to my system. And then I started watching this virtual world unfold, and I'm seeing Zoom come alive, and all of these individuals who had not been on camera before, like you and I are used to, all of a sudden on camera. And it was disastrous to watch some of it. It was comical. And then I also went, oh, wow, I think there's probably some help that I can provide. And so what I did, it's not just me sharing just my tips, but I actually went to my sphere of influence of some really great, incredible professionals in different industries and said, will you help contribute? Will you give your input on why you feel first impression is so important, and why you feel the power of messaging, and how you leveled up in your media presence and how that made a difference in your business. So I really reached out to some pretty wonderful people that contributed in this book as well, so that it can be a resource for anyone, even if you're just trying to be more articulate in your social media, or whether you're trying to get onto the Chris Voss Show. I can kind of reach all of those different levels and just touch on it. And that's what's in the book.
Yeah. I never realized how difficult it was. When my partner left in 2004, our corporations, I've been working at home ever since. I've run companies from other states. I've been pretty much almost working at home, other than a couple investments and some stuff we do with some Chinese mortgage company owners in Vegas. I've pretty much been working at home all the time. And we've been doing the Chris Voss Show for 13 years. So sitting in front of camera is pretty normal. And then me butchering the hell out of it, it's pretty normal. And my audience just drags along and goes, yeah, let's see what this idiot does today. Which is actually, that probably should be the name of the show, the Chris Voss Show. Let's see what this idiot does today.
Little tagline in there.
People just what is this car? It's like a slow moving car crash. In fact, people used to write me like I remember 13, 12 years ago on Twitter. They'd be like, you know what, we really hate Chris Voss. And I catch them talking about me on Twitter, and they'd be like, yeah, I really hate Chris Voss too, but I follow him. And they're like, why do you still follow him? Because I just want to see him when he hits the wall. It's going to be any day now. He's going to hit the wall. He's gonna crash. And I'm like, yeah, I'm watching too. Yeah, I'm seeing that. So stay tuned, folks. But now 12 years later, I'm still looking for the proverbial wall. There's some people think that I passed through it and I'm just an aberration at this point. Aberration. Aberration.
I know, it's one of those words, isn't it?
I'm aberrating my apparition at this point. God knows what I'm talking about. See what I mean? You never know what's going to happen on the Chris Voss Show. But no, like, everybody came into my world. Like, I was here working from home and working on Zoom and all this stuff. And like, suddenly everyone showed up and, hey, we want to be like you. And I'm like, fuck off. I've been here for years. Go away. Right? Leave me alone. Stop trying to touch me. The Logitech camera, we run on a 4K Brio, and we've had it for a few years, and I wanted to order a new one because, it's getting called scratchy on the surface there. And I couldn't order one because they're all sold out. I'm like, what?
Isn't that crazy?
I'm like, what do you people? Lee, get your own.
They're in our space.
So there you go. But one thing I found very interesting about your book is you talk about on-camera securities and fears, which is what I'm setting up the long way around with 50 segues. The one thing I saw was so many people, especially women, are concerned about their beauty and stuff and how they appear on camera and stuff. A lot of people I saw on Facebook were like, "Oh my God, I can't." And so I love that you talk about that in your book and help people, because I didn't really understand how terrorized some people are.
Normal.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed hundreds of professionals like you, Chris. We're
Well, let's not push it when you say call me professional, but yeah, I'll believe you.
But we meet individuals of all walks of life, all industries, all professions. But there is that common thread that when I was in the TV studio, when I was hosting a lot on Skype and also in person, it was Skype then, that there was that nervousness beforehand, no matter who they were. And I started paying attention, like, wait a minute, this is definitely more common than I realized. And what's funny, the one thing that I hear the most is this how I look? Oh, is that how I sound? And I always say, you know what the answer is? Yes. So if you don't like it, let's fix it. Yes, that is how you look and that is how you sound. You're just not used to seeing it and hearing it. Yeah. So that's maybe where it's time to make some adjustments.
It sounds like half my dates on Tinder when they take that fog thing off and I meet them in person. Something, I don't know. You take a picture of them and you go, here's your Tinder picture and your Instagram picture, and here's you. Oh, geez, that's not right. But no, I mean, a lot of people were really insecure. Yes. They didn't have training. We weren't great hosts for 13 years of this show. In fact, I don't know. I still don't. There's some times I do a show and I'm just like, I don't know what the hell that was. And people will be like, that was a great show. And I'm like,
you're like, really?
I'm kind of like Carson. You go home that night, you watch the show, and you just go, that sucked. That really sucked. But it
resonated with somebody, and they loved it.
Yeah, and then people download it, and you're like, don't do that. No, you please do that all the time. But no, so I'm glad there's a book out there that talks about insecurity and fears, because my book would just be like, yeah, you really do suck, and there's no help for you. But no, I mean, I'll tell people, hey, look, if this face can get on camera and people will watch it, most people tell me they listen to the show, but if most people put up with watching it, hey, don't complain to me. Like most people, I'm down here with Brad Pitt. He calls me for makeup tips. George Clooney, I don't take his calls anymore because he's older and he was
just calling too much, wasn't he?
It looks bad, and he's kind of desperate. Ever since he got married, he's been real beta. But no, any little tips or anything you want to tease out on the book so that people will be enticed to pick it up?
Well, it's funny, as I was reading the show notes that you sent over to me before being on this show, and I giggled because you have on there one thing that I say to everyone. First of all, clean the lens. For God's sakes, please start cleaning the lens on your cell phone, on your camera. There are so many bad, fuzzy photos and videos out there that you can just clean the lens. And second, we're going to talk about it. It's the resting face.
People the resting bitch face?
No, yes, but there's the confused face, there's the indifferent face, there's the I'm really not even listening face. We have got to learn what we're representing, because having effective communication comes from what we're presenting with our facial expressions. And it takes time to really get to know your face, what you're putting out there. And let me tell you, it's not going to just help when you're on camera or being on shows or podcasts, but it's going to help you at home too. Because guys, maybe she won't keep asking you, why are you mad at me? And you say, I'm not mad, because your face says you are, right? So getting comfortable with your face and what it's presenting is a big part of it. How to engage with the camera, how to engage and make it as if we're sitting in the same room. I want you to feel like we are sitting here right together, even though I'm looking in that camera.
Okay,
I'm there. You feel it? I'm there.
What you speak to is really true. One of my problems is remembering that, because just about 15 minutes ago, I was seeing like a Wi-Fi error coming in, and I was shutting down computers and whatever else we had going on. I'm like, no, we're not, not an internet sort of thing. And so I was getting this look on my face like, grr. And people might be watching going, maybe he doesn't like what she's saying. What the hell? She's very nice.
You kick her off right now. This is gonna resting.
and people do that. They'll do the resting bitch face, or
Yes.
for me, according to YouTubers and the kids on YouTubers, there's a lot of butt face that goes on my show, but that's what they put in the comments. I don't know what it means, but no, and people don't have that self-reflection
Right.
of what's going on in the show. Which is why I got fired from half my jobs, because every time we'd have one of those meetings, I'd be like, this guy, and they'd be like, "You're on camera, Chris." Don't get me started.
We can see you. We can see you.
Yeah, don't get me started on Jeffrey Tubin jokes. You led me right in that setup.
I did.
perfectly.
It was a
Thank you.
softball pitch.
I appreciate that. It
You're
took a little
welcome.
work to put that in place, but it was appropriate. I can't believe he got his job back on CNN, but I don't know. I mean, where is he going to go? MSNBC? I don't know. There's a joke there somewhere. I don't know what it is. So moving on from your book, let's talk about some other things you do. You do coaching.
Yes.
And help people with that. And so people can work with you, I guess, one-on-one through a coaching thing that you do. People can hire you to do sales team coaching as well. Tell us about how you do some of that and how people can work with you, interact with you, contact you to hire you, et cetera, et cetera.
The one-on-one is my favorite because it's it's so personal. Like, Chris, if you and I were working one-on-one, we would be talking about your resting face. We would be going over how you articulate, how you phrase things. What's your message? Is it on point? Are you rambling? Are you using filler words? These are all the things that in private coaching, they say, how do we help you craft your best message and your best self? So I start with definitely the body language, the facial expressions. Then we work on delivery and dialect. Some people speak in the same tone in every sentence, and it's like, it's just not resonating. Let's wake you up here. Let's wake you up. And there's a disconnect, especially when the camera goes on, that takes place, that people will just lose their energy and drop it. And then also the message. Some professionals that have incredible businesses or huge outreach or nonprofit community leaders, and then they go to share their message and it's just not there. I mean, have you been on interviews where you've heard somebody start with, so thanks for having me here. What I came to talk about, and it's just lost. You've got to know how to get to your talking points, and it's so important. So the private coaching, I definitely work with the individual, and it's personal work and it's hard work, and I'm tough. If some guys, I will take their chair away because they're swiveling or they're leaning back and like they're in a recliner. It's like, nope, we're going to sit up straight and we're going to focus and we're going to deliver your best self. Group coaching, I have to break it down a little bit differently. If I've got 15 people on a Zoom meeting, it's going to be a little bit more general, but everybody's still going to follow those same principles. And I have to tell you, it's a blast. Those that really trust me to take them there, I've seen tremendous improvement, really tremendous improvement. And it's fun for me to see them go on. I have one of my former clients that was just in Dallas last week, and she shared a stage with Tony Robbins. And before she couldn't even do public speaking at all. So to see that opportunity happen for her because of putting in the time and the effort to do the coaching was really awesome.
Yeah. One trick I learned about public speaking is you imagine yourself naked in front of the crowd. Wait.
No.
Me naked? Them naked. It's them naked. It's an old trick someone told me a long time ago. Imagine the audience naked, and I'm like, have you seen those people? Especially the ones in the front row. They've clearly look like me and been to McDonald's too many times. But no. That's going to give not only my audience nightmares, but probably me as well. So yeah, these are good tips to have. One of my biggest problems is the word. Yes. We use Discord to clean up the show afterwards to take out the filler words.
Yes.
And it about goes into cardiac arrest. It says like we've removed 5,000 ums and ahs, and I'm just like. Yeah, and I got a call from the CEO the other day. He goes, we have to double what we're charging you because
it's too
breaking our computers.
My clients, I have a clicker and I literally count them. We do practice, and they know exactly how many we're in for every question I ask or every section of a presentation. And any other filler words that may be in there. A lot of people use absolutely a lot. There are other filler words that are in there. It's okay to use them once in a while, but once it becomes a pattern, they got to go.
Yeah, sounds like some of my dates when I go on them, and they're like somehow people have turned half of a conversation into those 2-3 words. But no, I have people on the show that did that. The posture thing is a real big deal too. I had a body language coach friend, and I still have her as a friend. I don't know why I made that past tense.
You're getting a text after this.
Yeah, I'll get an ugly text. But she was a body language, and she sit up and look at the camera and stuff. Years ago, it's been several years, so I can probably do this joke. But I had a comedian on the show one time, and he literally was doing this, like he was back here like this. He's like,
oh no,
he was like looking at something the whole time, like he's looking at whatever, and yeah, okay, whatever, podcast boy. And he pretty much did the whole thing kind of like that. And I was just so offended.
No, I would be too.
I was like, yeah, he looked away most of the time, like, yeah, I'm just phoning this in. And I probably these days I would have just been like, you know what? You can take your little comedian box down the road. You're not as funny as I am. And he wasn't. But yeah, I think, how do people reach out to you when they want help for coaching? You also do public speaking, we should probably touch on as well.
Yes. amyscruggsmedia.com, amyscruggsmusic.com. They both come to me. All social medias are just going to be Amy Scruggs, Amy Scruggs Media. Thankfully, there's really no one else out there with my name. And so I'm super easy to find, and I answer my messages. So it's easy to find me on any of those platforms by just reaching out to Amy Scruggs. And I love hearing from people, even with just quick questions, or, want to get some feedback, or you want to schedule a consultation. I absolutely love what I do.
What about people who, this is, of course, doesn't pertain to me, but people don't shave sometimes, or they just don't cut their beard, or they just don't give a shit. What about those people? Are they good people still?
Oh, well, you know what? If they can deliver and their message is on point and their eyes are lit up, right? We don't care.
Well, I'm screwed then. Or I'll tell that person they're screwed. It's funny, for years, we've been on YouTube for since 2006. We just hit like some crazy number, but we really didn't do videos until consistently and business wise up until like I think 2009. There's filler words now. You have me thinking about it. There's another one.
See, now I'm in your head.
Yeah, I know. I can hear the clicking. You're like welcome. My mom when I used to swear, and what she was going to charge me for the swear jar. So I've lost the segue to the joke, so that one right out the window. But wow, it's Monday. Moving on. What haven't we talked about that you're really amazing at?
What am I amazing at?
What haven't we talked about that you're amazing at? We're trying to make sure we get everything in the jar.
I'm a proud wife. I'm a mom. We have 6 kids. They're all grown now. And
six kids?
Yes. And I'm still together. I am still in one piece, and I am proud of that.
You kind of have to be, actually, but no.
The youngest is off to college in a few weeks, and it's just fantastic. So I'm really proud of that. And my oldest son was my lead guitar player and toured with me.
Really?
And he's still my lead guitar player. So it's really awesome that I've shared some of the most incredible stages with my son.
That is awesome.
I like to share that because I'm really proud.
Yeah. Having your kids do your band thing, that's great. And you don't have to pay them either, because they still owe you like $500,000 for raising them. It's like $300,000 to raise a kid from 0 to 17 now. That doesn't count college.
Yeah, they all had to work and help. It's all part of the family business.
There you go. 6 kids. That's a lot. I met when I was in high school, I knew a young lady who asked me to go to prom once. She wanted 12 kids.
No.
Yeah, she wanted 12 kids, and I was like, I don't think we're going to prom together. I actually had a prior date, and I met her years later. She's a wonderful person, a good friend, and I said, "Whatever happened to that 12 kid thing?" And she goes, "I watched the video on what the having kids thing is like," and I said, "No, we're not doing that." Yeah. So 6 kids is definitely a feat, but these kids nowadays, they're expensive to raise.
They are expensive.
Yeah.
And the adults are expensive even. Adulting is hard on our kids now, and so there's still a lot that we absorb. That it's all right. It's worth it. And now I get to still, have music out there and be a rock star and be a coach and do great shows like this. I'm so thrilled that I get to be here with you today. Even at the end of the show, you cracked me up. I'm still happy we're here.
I'll send that PayPal over for what I owe you. No, it's really great. So what's the future of what you're looking forward to do you have some events coming up or different things? I mean, now you're kind of free to run around without
I am free to run around a little bit. I'm excited about continuing on the music promotion. I still have 4 more songs on this EP that I'm really thrilled about promoting. I do a lot of speaking. I actually speak in front of districts and big regions for Rotary clubs. So really trying to inspire Rotarians out there for leveling up their media visibility, because they do a ton of outreach and not everybody knows about it. And so there's a disconnect there with Rotarians really letting people know what they're really out there doing in the community. So it's really fun to go out and speak and empower and challenge. But what's next? I leave it open, because every time I think I know what's coming next, it goes a different direction. So I love the joy in not knowing every day. I don't know which clients are going to come in next that I haven't even met yet, and I'm excited about them. And I don't know what phone call is going to come in tomorrow. I love the business I have now and excited about whatever opportunities are ahead.
There you go.
It's good stuff.
Exciting, man. I love your energy and how excited you are about life. And when you said 6 kids, I went, oh my gosh, that's a lot. You never know. Maybe I'll have 6 more. I mean, I'm visiting.
No.
I'm visiting up here in Utah.
They're grown, Chris. They're grown.
Yeah, but I mean, you can start over. I'm up here in Utah. That's the setup for the joke I'm getting to. I'm up here in Utah, and 12 kids is normal up here. It's pretty normal. Yeah. It's like,
that's an entry-level head count. That's right.
You can move. You just start your own football team or baseball team or I don't know.
No, I just raised my own band, and now my daughter plays 5 instruments. So I'm really, if I could have a couple musicians in there, that's what worked. And now I can call it good. As soon as my kids were born, I just sent them to military school and said, call me when you're 18. So I'm just waiting for that call to be. And we changed the number a few times, so they can't call back. So good luck to them. I wish them well. So what do you think? I mean, you coach for, people being able to do Zoom calls. It looks like, this new way of interacting and doing business over Zoom. We've seen the Great Resignation. We've had a lot of great authors who've talked about the Great Resignation and remote work. We've had other great authors wrote about books about that in the future. It looks like this is going to be with us for some time, where people are going to have to get used to, dealing over media, presenting over media, being good at it. Maybe we're just going to have a whole new generation of YouTube people on Zoom or something. It's interesting, isn't it? It really is here to stay. And I realized that as it was happening, I'm like, this is what I do. This is good news. I can help people. This is what I was already doing before COVID. So how exciting that this opportunity has presented itself for me to have that visibility of helping professionals know their resting face, right? What their message is, take out those filler words, and to realize that your ums are being edited out when you're on interviews. So let's just take them out and save our poor hosts the step of having to take them out. Let's level up as professionals, because it's time. All industries now, you're on camera, you can't avoid it anymore. It's time to level up.
And the CEO to script will thank you, and not charge me double. Of course, most of them are mine. So let me ask you this: as we're talking about that, we've entered a new world that I've discussed with people where, as a leader, as a CEO, I'm used to being a big mouth. I'm used to being a CEO of my companies and being in person, and it's very easy for me to motivate, inspire, touch people, get people fired up, get on my little box and go, we're going to do this and we're going to march over there and do this stupid stuff with whatever the company is. And that's very easy to do. And one thing I've been, thinking about is how, as a leader and board of directors, vice presidents, CEOs, that you can use this medium to be able to reach through the screen and get the employee who's sitting there in his pajamas, or him or her sitting there in pajamas going, I don't know, motivate me, buddy. Let's go. And it's much harder to do through this medium.
Much harder to do. I think there needs to be more of a consistency, where maybe if you've got those employees that are having a harder time with it, there needs to be more regular interaction of leveling up how they're interacting on these virtual meetings, what that looks like, because if the message isn't being received, then we need to find a new way to deliver it. So if you're trying to get the same person motivated over and over again, we got to look at what am I saying? How am I trying to motivate them? And maybe try a different approach. And that is tough. We're dealing with a remote world with that, but it could even just start with looking in the camera. It could start with showing some more energy when you're on that virtual meeting and seeing if you can get that person to come up and join you. As a guest, sometimes even with different shows that I get to interview on, the host may have low energy and then it keeps dropping. So I got to lift it back up. All right, let's just raise this level back up. And sometimes we have to do that virtually, and it's tricky, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I've been on my fair share of podcasts where, like, I think the audience is so used to hearing their host, and their host is a bit dry and slow, and I come on, it's like an explosion. Like, what the hell's going on?
So that's
and
me.
That's what the coffee's for, folks. The other thing I want to touch on with you that you've epiphany my mind. I don't know. It's Monday. Sometimes after a weekend,
or a bad thing yet.
sometimes after a weekend, I get out of the groove because we don't do podcasts in the weekend. I get out of the groove and like the brain's like, you want us to do stuff again? Like you want the
should have
hamster
never
wheel to
booked a
work?
Monday.
Yeah, no, it's actually funnier. I think the audience is like, look at this idiot. This is, sometimes it's like one of those comedic things that I love. It's like when it's great when you kill, right? You're funny on stage. But I think great comedians are funny if they die, like Norm Macdonald, or there's a few other ones that were really great at dying on stage and were so good at dying that they killed. And so I think my audience half the time just sits around and goes, look at this idiot boy. So that should be the byline of the show. The Chris Voss Show. Look at this idiot boy. But your book has me having an epiphany about how what people need to realize too is when they're in their corporate, Zoom calls and stuff. And geez, I've had some of my friends that work for big companies. They're on like 12 calls a day. And what people don't realize is, your bosses are looking at you, your coworkers are looking at you, and of course, if you're just like over there, I don't know, filing your nails or.
Right.
Oh my God.
You wouldn't have done that in person.
Yeah, you wouldn't have done that in person. Well, I did. That's why I don't.
Well, maybe you did.
No one will hire me anywhere. It does not play with others. That's why I'm self-employed. But no, people need to realize that. And they need to realize how important that is for promotions, your job, I mean, clearly if you're, we've all seen that guy, that comedian who's running around with the green screen. He's riding his bike, and you've seen those things on TikTok. So, you don't want to be that guy. He's at football games with his laptop held onto him and a green screen behind him. But, it's important that people get your book and get this sort of media message, because it makes all the difference in the world. It's very different trying to communicate across the screen, and whether it's enthusiasm, motivation, looking like you're an employee who's attentive,
right?
It also helps if you wear those pajamas. You don't want to show up shirtless. This is another reason
Put
that
something on. That's the number one. We advise something, please.
Yeah, this is another reason I'm banned from HR companies. He's not working anywhere. We've seen his file. Jeffrey Toobin, basically. That's what I'm saying. Anything more you want to touch on or tease out before we go?
No, the one thing that I love to tease out is just take those limits off. I think that as individuals, we tend to put limits on.
Let's take the shirts off then.
Not the shirts. We're going to leave the shirt on. But we're going to take the limits off and just say, you know what? Why not? Why not try this? Why don't you just try to put your energy up in your next virtual meeting? Try to show up like you actually really belong and want to be there, and watch and see what opportunities might present themselves. Because I'm seeing great professionals miss opportunities just because they're not presenting themselves well in those virtual meetings, or showing up to a great show like this and then just not having their message on point. And then why did you put all that work into it? We've got to level up, and don't be afraid to just try. Put yourself out there, show up, put your good face on, get the resting, anger faces off, and just give it your all.
Yeah. I liken it sometimes. Like sometimes a guest will come on and I'm like, are they taking a poop? Like, what's going on? They have that face like, You're like, what? Do you have constipation? What's going on with your face? And
they don't even know it. They don't even know they're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pooping right now. Look, I'm smiling. No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
This is my angry face.
Yeah. This is my angry face. I'm smiling. But no, people don't realize it. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a setup, is, you like how I identify it? The setup is is you can stand out in this medium and excel and maybe get more promotions and be more successful in business with your clients or whatever. You can really stand out if you read your book, Coach with You, and different things, because if you have just these extra little tricks, that small percentage that makes all the difference, that pushes everything over the edge, you can stand up for your fellow employees, and then you can get them fired. And you get yourself
you can get
promoted.
a promotion. You can get the job you've been trying to get.
Look at these idiots. They got resting bitch face on the show. What the fuck? But no.
But it's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah. And the other thing people need to realize that I've talked to people about is, the Chris Voss Show, our mediums are 13 years now. People are still commenting and people are still watching those things. And we tell people when they get on the show, people are still going to be watching your videos like 12 years from now. I mean, we got like time capsules of people on the Chris Voss Show. In fact, you can go back and see what I look like 12 years ago. Don't do that.
I'm going to do that.
Don't. There's about twice of me.
I want to see the evolution, Chris.
Yeah, you probably can. It's like a weight loss photo. But I've got friends that I go back and I'm like, wow, look, when you were young and you had your hair. To soberly, there's people on the show that aren't with us anymore, and their families can go back and see what they were. So you've got to realize these mediums, especially if they're on video and they're going to be on the internet, they're going to be around for long term, and you don't want to have that look on your face like, and all that stuff. And smiling is really important in getting that voice out, to getting all that stuff, which you probably know.
It takes practice, like anything else. Work at it. It's worth it.
Yep. I'm smiling right now.
I'm angry right now. See?
Well, you have 6 kids. I've seen mom anger before, so
I don't have it. I don't even get it.
Yeah, really? My mom used to be one of those people that she could be screaming at us, and you damn kids, and we were damn kids, and she'd get a phone call and she could make that switch. Have you ever seen a mom who can make that switch? And she'd be like,
yeah.
Hi, Joy. Oh, everything's wonderful over here. It's the greatest thing, and they're all positive. And then as soon as that phone gets hung up,
good.
Yeah. Those of you who Gen Zers can Google that. I'll get my interpreter for later, like Amy has. Immediately she would turn it like, fire and animation and She-Hulk. So it was always that. Anyway, it's been wonderful having the show. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs or wherever.
AmyScruggsMedia.com, AmyScruggsMusic.com. You can find the music on all streaming platforms. The book is on anywhere the books are sold. Go online. You can find it on Target, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, whatever. But just reach out. I'd love to answer any questions. And it was just awesome to be with you today, Chris.
It was fun to have you too. It's so good to have lively people on the show who know their media. So that's a wink and nod to you guests that are coming up. Please show up without your resting bitch face. Because the resting bitch face.
Me first. I'll help you. I'll prep you for the Chris Voss Show.
We'll just make you any, because there's only one person on the show who gets resting bitch face, and it's me. Thank you very much for coming on, Amy. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
It was a joy. Thanks.
There you go. And thanks to my audience for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. You guys are so wonderful in so many different ways. What more can I say to buddy you up? You know what? Refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Tell them it's the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you, but doesn't judge you, except when I meet you personally. No, just kidding. I don't do that. I love you guys. Just don't run up to me screaming like you do, the Chris Voss Show. And I don't know, I pull out a weapon. So, let me know you're coming. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, all the places around the internet, except for Snapchat for the most obvious reasons. LinkedIn group, the LinkedIn newsletter, subscribe to that as well. Be sure to order up Amy's book, Lights, Camera, Action, Media Coaching for any professional in today's digital world. You can get it wherever fine books are sold, but stay away from those alleyway bookstores. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.